as expected, unanimously opposed the government's move to impose a lifetime ban on entering Australia for anyone who's attempted to get here by boat. But here's a demonstration of why it's a dangerous position. This is the latest Essential poll. It shows 56% of voters support the policy. And here's the interesting bit. 52% of Labor voters support it too. The politics of this for Labor remain very difficult. Kevin Rudd evidently still doesn't get it, but Bill Shorten does. Today, he kept his options open. He will revisit support for this deal if it becomes apparent that it's a key plank in securing a multi-nation resettlement deal, which, as I've been reporting, is soon. So that is one to keep a very close eye on. Let's get to all the US politics now. In less than 24 hours, we should know who the next president of the United States is. Polling stations in a handful of precincts have already opened after both Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump wrapped up their campaigns with a frantic blitz in battleground states. Here's a recap of their chaotic election eve.
Nice head of hair, I'll say that.
Donald Trump is uniquely unqualified to hold this job. And the good news is, New Hampshire, you are uniquely qualified to make sure he does not get this job.
President Obama is campaigning today with Hillary Clinton because she can't campaign. She can't campaign.
This election is basically between division and unity in our country.
This election will decide whether we're ruled by a corrupt political class or whether we are ruled by yourselves, the people.
Are we going to change forward, together, or backward? I think you know what the answer is going to be.
It is the greatest nation on earth, a country where a girl like me from the south side of Chicago, whose great-great-grandfather was a slave, can go to some of the finest universities on earth.
I regret deeply how angry the tone of the campaign became.
Not your fault.
I am so incredibly proud of him, what he's accomplished today, and I know tomorrow will be another great day.
Hillary Clinton is the most corrupt person ever to seek the office of the presidency of the United States.
Why don't you put your voting shades on?
Where we prove conclusively that yes, love trumps hate. Thank you.
And we will make America great again.
Meantime, Cronulla Sharks star Ben Barber has been released from his contract after testing positive to illicit drugs for the second time in as many years. The fullback has also been banned for 12 NRL matches should he return to the game in future.
After securing their first grand final trophy, Cronulla Sharks players were keen to party. 4 days later, Ben Barber tested positive for cocaine.
He's made a poor choice on a poor day. Whether he's got carried away with the celebrations, don't know the exact circumstances of when this occurred, but obviously a poor choice.
It was the second strike against the star fullback under the NRL's illicit drugs policy. His first positive test came in early 2015. The Sharks had the option to sack the former Dally M winner after he decided not to fight the charges. But after meeting Ben Barber and his representatives on Friday, they decided to be more lenient.
We have agreed to release Ben from his contract so that he can go away and work very hard on addressing some of the matters that are very relevant to his own future, well past his playing days.
Barber will attend an intensive rehabilitation program in Thailand. It's not the first time the NRL player has been in rehab. He's previously received treatment for a gambling addiction. In a written statement, Ben Barber said, "As footballers, we often find it hard to speak up about having problems, but this decision has lifted so much pressure off myself, I cannot start to explain just how much better I feel by taking this action." The NRL has issued Barber a 12-match ban. The suspension will be served should he return to the game in future. The Sharks boss says while it's disappointing, he hopes the setback doesn't cast a shadow over Cronulla's historic achievement. Amy Greenbank, Sky News, Sydney.
Australia has been named as one of the few regional maintenance bases for the Joint Strike Fighter. There are $100 million worth of contracts up for grabs, repairing everything from cockpits to fuel pumps.
The government sees it as a huge vote of confidence, not just for Australian defence companies, but for the nation's secure position in an increasingly unstable Asia-Pacific region. Australia is one of just 4 countries to host a global maintenance base for the 3,500 F-35 Joint Strike Fighters that will begin cruising the skies from 2020. Contracts to local defence companies are yet to be finalised, but the work will be worth around $100 million and could create hundreds of jobs from northern Adelaide to Brisbane.
This builds, of course, on the $800 million that we've already received in value from the Joint Strike Fighter program through 30 businesses around Australia making parts for the Joint Strike Fighter.
Australia will repair, maintain and upgrade all sorts of parts for F-35s in the region, from the landing gear to life support. Each aircraft costs around $15 billion, and Australia hopes to have a fleet of 18. That's despite the long list of problems encountered during development, including one last month where a fire caused $2 million worth of damage during testing.
While that's an unfortunate incident, it doesn't throw the whole program into doubt, because the very purpose of testing is to iron out particular problems.
The minister also laughed off the idea of Donald Trump dumping the Joint Strike Fighter program should he win the presidency.
Trying to reverse out of that project would be well nigh impossible. And we'll know, of course, tomorrow whether that could possibly even come to pass.
Patrick Murrell, Sky News, Adelaide.